if you've never been to a Rotary meeting before, we have a little protocol in this as we start our meeting. And by the way, I'm Jim Woodard. I happen to be the president of the club this year, and we're glad that all of you are here. And we start off with a great song, and Greg Gristle is going to be our leader. Here we go, Greg.
Let's sing a little America the Beautiful. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, God shed his grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
We're normally not that good, so that was pretty darn good. Thank you, Greg. We also have another thing we do. It's called the four-way test. And JJ, where are you, JJ? Okay, JJ, lead us in our four-way test.
Please join me in the four-way test and the things we think, say, or do. First,
is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Give it up for JJ. Also, the Pledge of Allegiance, we have our state rep here also, Rush Bricken, a good Rotary member as well. So thank you, Rush.
please join me in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And we saved the best for last. If you ever need a prayer warrior at any function, just invite Don Dixon, because Don's going to come up and say a prayer for us. Thank you, Brother Don.
Thank you. Let us pray. Eternal God, the meal that we've shared together today reminds us that you are the giver of every good and perfect gift. We give thanks for the people like Senator Blackburn, who gives their lives in public service. We are grateful for her service to the state of Tennessee and to our country. Today, as our president is on a journey for peace, may the destination of that journey be peace for Ukraine. We also ask in other nations where there are conflicts, they may find the journey for peace. Grant us success in our own personal journey for peace. Remind us that it is a promise you offer us, is a peace that surpasses all understanding, and is given in your name, the same name in which we pray this prayer. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Don. Okay, you may be seated at the moment, but what you don't realize is that not only is Don a wonderful person of prayer, but he met Jesus in the back and all of a sudden caused that food to multiply. So we did get a multiplication on our food when I was told earlier we might run out, but thanks, Don, for getting that miracle passed. All right, while we're seated, there's a lot of wonderful people in the room that we're going to do our best to try to acknowledge, but I'm not going to be able to call out all names and we don't have time for that. But help me. If you are an elected official of the city, of the county, of the state, if you are working with the city on our city board or city schools, but if you are elected or an official, would you just stand up for us so we can see? Would you give us a stand? All right, you may be seated. If you are a visiting Rotarian, not a member of our club, but if you're a visiting Rotarian from some other club, would you want to stand so we could recognize you? That Breakfast Club. Let's go. If you're not a member of the Tullahoma Noon Rotary Club, we are looking for members. So some of us may be trying to work the crowd a little bit later, so keep that in mind. With that being said, so officials, city, all that, special guests and friends, I know we've got a lot of people here. I do want to announce the head table. Starting off to my right, again, we'll start with Dr. Paul Bass and his beautiful wife, Miss Judy. Also, Senator Marsha Blackburn, thank you for that. Our mayor, Lynn Seaborn, who took a plane late last night just so he could be back here today. His beautiful bride, Miss Tiffany. To my left over here is Jordan Ennis. He's the second incoming president of our Rotary Club. Linda Bean's been our bean counter and money counter for many, many years, but we appreciate you, Linda. Greg is also the next incoming president following me, so we appreciate Greg. And also Don Dixon has been one of the best prayer warriors we've got in our Rotary Club for many, many years. So this is the head table, so give it up for them. All right, with that being said, I want to ask, there's a little special recognition today, and let's see, Pat Welsh, are you in the room? Could I invite you up to the table? I think Senator Marshburn might like to hear what you've got to say today.
5 minutes or 50? Yeah. I'm the director of the South Central District for the Tennessee School Board Association, better known as TSBA. That includes 13 counties, and there's county systems and 3 city systems with it. And our district this past year had Erin Martin, who was Teacher of the Year. She's a kindergarten teacher at Robert E. Lee. We had Mary Gilbert, Principal of the Year at Robert E. Lee. Student of the Year. Is this news embargoed? Will you be violated? Well, I won't, but we do have the Student of the Year too. Supervisor of the Year, Jesse Kinsey, who's the CTE Director at THS. And we have our own Director of Schools has been voted the best director in our district. And she's up for state competition also. And the TSBA hasn't recognized a board chair, but we've got the best district board chair in Kim Usselton. And I believe you've got Dr. Stevens coming up.
She can.
Okay. I think he wanted you to introduce yours.
I will be quick, but I have the best guests in the house today. And if those guests will please stand, we have Hope, we have Brody, we have Claire, we have Deanna, Winnie, and Emma, Tullahoma High School students who are part of our student council, student government. Please welcome them as our guests. And one of their teachers, Mr. Woods, who is tremendous. He's a guest as well. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Senator Blackburn, we've got so much here that we are so proud of, and our educational system is absolutely maybe at the top of the ladder because, again, we are just so grateful. So to get the Superintendent of the Year, the Student of the Year, the Teacher of the Year, Supervisor. Will you all try a little harder? Come on. Come on. We got to look good. Also, something that I certainly want to remind our Rotary Club members. We have a work day tomorrow at the Blue Monarch. So we're joining with some of the other area Rotary clubs, 9 o'clock out at the Blue Monarch. The address, if you need to put it in there, is 375 Lord's Landing Lane. I love that road. Lord's Landing Lane in Hillsborough. So that's 9 o'clock at the front gate. Bring some weed eaters and some gloves. And if anybody wants to join me out there, I'll be out there at 9 o'clock in the morning. So we're thankful for that. In addition to that, Senator Blackburn, Susan Blinkley is here today, and also with Shakia. And that's one of the greatest things that goes on into our Rotary programs. Rotary also says one of our pillars is supporting mothers and children. And we are supporting them with Workday tomorrow and also through other funds. Let me just read this very quickly. Susan, Always open to new adventures and not afraid of risk, Susan Blinkley followed the direction of God giving to her in a powerful dream one night. It's a beautiful story. To start Blue Monarch, a long-term residential recovery home that provides healing for those suffering from abuse and addictions. Since 2003, Blue Monarch has served over 1,000 women and children, and more than 370 children have been reunited with their mothers who had previously lost custody. Blue Monarch has become one of the most successful and highly unique recovery programs in the country, focusing on the child's recovery as much as the mom's. And that's a great story that you tell too. And by teaching mothers to be sober parents. Susan authored a really popular book that's called From My Front Row Seat, which highlights that journey. If you've not read that book, I would invite all of you to go find it, My Front Row Seat. Also notice that Susan is now on the YouVision app, Bible app. So for those of you that have ever heard of YouVersion, Susan's got an app on that, which is pretty cool. So congratulations. So again, we'd like to give it up to Susan and Blue Monarch. Susan, didn't you tell me everybody that shows up tomorrow to work gets an extra blessing and somehow, didn't you? Aren't you working that? Okay, just thinking. So we are certainly grateful for you. And certainly, last but not least, Commander from out at the Air Force Base. We certainly appreciate you being here. He runs a little business out there. It starts with like double B's, billions and stuff like that. Yeah. So, I mean, it's he stays busy. But again, Commander, we thank you for being here. Colonel Mizell, so thank you very much. Greg, are there anybody else that we needed that I overlooked? I think we got it good. There's a lot of you that are special in this room, and we certainly appreciate that. I do want to give out a couple of fast thank yous. Certainly want to thank the Atlantic for letting us be here today and providing us. So Rebecca, wherever you are back there in the back, we appreciate you. Julie Uline with that Catering Creations. Julie, if you're back there in the back, we certainly want to thank you for those wonderful meatloaf meatballs, which she said is the most popular request that she gets all the time. Also for TUA for, again, showing up and helping us with these speakers and what's going on. I'd certainly like to thank Don Dixon, who was nice enough to bring the signature strings over here. Didn't everybody enjoy that today? We have Tammy and Natalie and Kennedy and Lisa, right? Did I get all those right? And they said they'd be happy to help you if you ever need a little music at your place at any given time. Last but not least, I'd certainly like to thank my good friend, Dr. Paul Bass, who is bringing our program today with us. I certainly want to continue to thank again, our wonderful school system and what's going on. Pat Welch, I didn't say this about Pat. Pat's been on the school board for the city of Tullahoma for like 25 years. He was chairman for like 8 years, and now he just gets a few more recognitions. But anyway, he's not a very good golfer. They lost our trophy last week, so I'm trying to get that. All right, Dr. Paul Bass, would you like to come up and introduce our program today? Sure.
So the first thing I had to do is take a look at how much time I have left, which is pretty much zero at this point. So I was going to be brief. You guys know that's difficult for me, but I'm going to be pretty brief. Okay. There are two specific things that I would like to say about Senator Marsha Blackburn, and it's really who she is. She is a person of absolute integrity. I've known this lady for many years, and I've never seen her do anything that would compromise her or her family or her country in any way whatsoever. And so thank you for who you are. It's brings tears to my eyes, man. Oh, gosh. Next. So that piece, integrity, is part of what I want to share with you about Senator Blackburn. Secondly, she has a whatever it takes attitude. Whatever it takes. And I could give you 100 examples if I had the hour up here that she's going to be getting. And the bottom line is, you add those two together, and all I can say is, she's simply the best. How many people remember that song? She is absolutely simply the best. And so now, what I'm going to ask you guys to do is get off your duffs, stand up, and let's give a huge Rotary ovation to the next governor of the state of Tennessee, Marsha Blackburn.
Oh my goodness. How much fun is that? And I am absolutely delighted to be here with you all today and to see friends, to catch up and to meet these students and then to just celebrate what we've got going on here in Tennessee. It is awesome. We've got somebody recording and a reporter here, and they're going to get my remarks and then they're going to exit so you all can ask questions and not fear being quoted in the paper. So anyway, that's the arrangement they had pulled together for today. And then after we finish here, we're going over to City Hall, and we're going to do our county meeting. I'm in each of our 95 counties in this state every year. And I've done that for 7 years. And I always appreciate the opportunity to get an update of how things are going in the counties. I love the fact that our team is in the counties regularly, and then I get into each county at least once every year to talk with our citizens. And I haven't been able to do as much of that this year. We have been in DC quite a bit. Actually, this session of Congress has been in session more than any other. We have been in session more than 750 hours this year. Since January 3rd, we have taken 499 votes. You have to go back into the 80s to find a session of the Senate that took more votes. We have confirmed all of the president's cabinet, and now we're working on sub-cabinets, we're working on judges, and the very first judge we confirmed in this administration is Whitney Hermendorfer for the 6th Circuit. That is us. And Ms. Hermendorfer has been a part of Attorney General Skermetti's team. And she is going to be a superb judge for Tennessee on that 6th Circuit. We've also done a few things like making certain the border was secure, that deportations are taking place, making certain that the crime numbers are coming down. We have defunded NPR. And that is something that we have wanted to see done. Ronald Reagan started working on how we would defund NPR, and we were able to get that done in the rescission bill, along with ending some of this foreign aid to countries that do not support the United States of America. And it was time to see that done. In addition, that big, beautiful bill, and I know that's what you all wanted to hear about primarily today, what is actually in the big, beautiful bill. And it is a lot. First of all, it is indeed the largest tax cut in history. The Council of Economic Advisors estimates that it is going to be about a $2,600 tax savings per family. And that because of the policies embodied in the bill, you're going to see wage growth over the next couple of years for Tennesseans in the $8,000 to $10,000 range. So the biggest tax cut, and what we need as that shot in the arm. In addition to that, you are going to see permanence. And that is vitally important. I know all of you get frustrated when there's a policy you're working on, you're trying to do a business plan or a pro forma, and you're basing it on tax policy, but in 3 years that policy is either going to expire or change. And it limits your ability. So now having permanence in tax policy is going to give you a little bit better of a basis there. In addition to this, we were able to reinstate R&D expensing, bonus depreciation, interest expensing, and 199A for our small business owners. Getting those components in there, getting permanence so you know you can count on it. Now, we were not able to make no tax on tips or overtime permanent, but they've got a 6-year run. And then they'll have to be reauthorized. But legislation I had worked on that would remove the tax on Social Security, which to me never made sense. Why were we taxing Social Security? It was a double tax. So I was able to find a way to work this through, thread that needle. We figured out most seniors, their Social Security tax would be no more than $6,000. So if you are a senior receiving Social Security, you get a bonus deduction of $6,000. If you're a couple married filing jointly, that's a $12,000 deduction. That is how we have removed the tax from Social Security. And that is something that is going to serve our state very well. We were able to get another provision I worked on, childcare, employer-provided childcare tax credit into the bill. As I go through the counties in the state, what I realized was many people wanted to go to work, and employers said, we've got jobs and we're trying to help somebody get back to work from maternity leave, but they couldn't find anybody to keep the babies. So if you're an employer, small or large, and you provide childcare for your employees, you will have a dollar-for-dollar tax credit for that service. And you know, for a lot of our small communities, this is going to be awesome because they can go work with the Methodist Church or whomever does Mother's Day out and say, you know, we need you to be there more than 9 to 2. Can you do 8 to 3 or 8 to 4? Something of that nature. And then they're able to pay for those slots to help that worker get back to work and provide that good child care. And this is something that we were able to do for our ag community and our small business owners, the death tax exemption. How many of you know of people that had to sell the business or sell the farm because they couldn't pay the taxes? We all know of those people. And it is just heartbreaking when someone is invested and built a business. So what we've done is to raise the exemption. It is $15 million per individual, $30 million for a couple. That will allow a lot of businesses to be passed on. And we are thrilled to get that done. This had been the number one ask of the Tennessee Farm Bureau, was to see if we could get that into this bill. And as a member of Senate Finance Committee, which I am, and being able to work on these and talk to Tennesseans and see what they wanted done, this has been really such a great project. We were talking to the president in February. He had called the Republicans on Senate Finance Committee down. I'm the only female on that committee, and we were at the White House working with him. And he was thrilled to find out we started working on how we would make these tax cuts permanent back in September of last year. We felt like Donald Trump was going to win that election, and we wanted to be ready to move forward to serve this nation well. A lot of other good things that are in there. My buddy John Roberts was always texting me things about EVs and how they weren't selling. And so I listened to him. I depend on him for input. So what we did was to remove the Green New Deal credits for buying an electric vehicle, and we changed it. It is so good for Tennessee, because if you buy a new American-made car, you can deduct every bit of interest that you are paying on that car. Now, the downstream effect from this, whether it's VW or Nissan or GM, look at what happens. All of those suppliers are going to be making more cars, supplying more parts to make more cars at these auto facilities. It's more work for Tennesseans. It's more overtime for Tennesseans. So we were happy to get that one in there. Medicaid, you've all heard that Medicaid's going to be cut, and that is false. It is not. Medicaid spending is going to increase. Here's what you will see differently. If you are a freeloader, if you are a fraudster, if you are an illegal alien, you will not get Medicaid and SNAP benefits. They are there for U.S. citizens. They are there for the American people. And if you're an able-bodied, childless adult, and you want Medicaid and SNAP, you've got to work 20 hours a week. And that requirement will be enforced by our state. And our state legislators, we've got Rush and Iris here with me today. They are going to be the ones that are going to oversee how that gets implemented. And that Tennesseans have wanted to see that done for years, to make certain that people that were getting benefits deserved those benefits. We've also put a rural hospital funding mechanism in place, and this is something Senator Collins and I worked on. In Tennessee, we've lost 12 of our rural hospitals, and as we've worked with ways to increase access and to make certain that we were thinking differently about healthcare and how we innovated with healthcare. And our state legislature has done yeoman's work on this issue. We know that innovation is important. So for our rural hospitals, Senator Collins and I got a $50 billion fund. $25 billion of it will be set payments to our rural hospitals in the country. The other $25 billion is by increasing access to care. And Tennessee is going to get more than our fair share of that. Big Beautiful Bill also has $150 billion plus up for our military, and AEDC is certainly going to get a portion of those funds. Let me say this, we're really proud of AECD, and I want you to know we're really excited about something that took place over there recently. The Sentinel, the ICBM, it was tested over at Arnold. That is something that is going to help make our nation safer. It makes our war fighter safer. It makes our military more efficient. And we are just thrilled with the work that you are doing and the team you're leading. So we're really proud of that. And we've got more that we're doing for Arnold over in our NDAA, and also more that's coming in the MilCon bill. We've been able, since I've been in the Senate, we've put in about $138 million of upgrades over at Arnold, and the good work that they are doing there is tied in with what is going on at Huntsville. Space Force is co-located at Huntsville. We're expecting good news on Space Force in the coming week or so, and much of the work they're doing is going to be actually tested at AEDC. Good for this area. And so it is a good thing to have the Air Force beefing up that facility. We also are, when we go back to DC on September 2nd, we are going to begin working on appropriations. For the first time, we are going to finish these appropriations bills. There's 12 to do. We've already completed 3, so they're ready to go over to the House. It will be a good thing for us to get off the elevated spending levels that were put in place during COVID and move off the Biden budget and onto a Trump budget that is actually working to reduce what we spend. You know, our government ran a surplus in June for the first time in over 30 years. How about that? No deficit spending. So we are going to be pushing forward on that. Now at Senate Finance Committee, we are going to do a second reconciliation bill this fall. We'll do some work to strengthen Medicare. We have my provisions to end pharmacy benefit managers, taking the rebate on pharmacy, some other provisions that will be in that one. We will have a third one next spring. So we at Finance are going to be very busy because we also do tariff and trade. We handle all the international tax, all of those issues that underpin our nation's business structure are what we work on there. At Judiciary Committee, I'm chairman of Privacy, Technology, and the Law. We are already doing hearings and working on an online privacy bill so that you have the ability to protect your data and your information in the virtual space. We're putting this in place before we move over to AI regulations. And of course, to underpin AI, we are working on quantum. I'm chairing the nation's quantum initiative. The U.S. Senate is pushing. That benefits Chattanooga. That benefits Oak Ridge. It benefits the research work that is being done in this state. It opens doors of opportunity for these students that are here with us today. So that is some of what we'll be focusing on. So with that, I'm going to say thank you to the media that has been here to join us today, and then we will move to questions and answers. Thank you again.